Hello and welcome to the channel. So, as requested, I am going to be doing a series of videos on how I approach playing the guitar. After 31 years of learning how to play the guitar, and I'm still learning, I'm going to share with you how I approach guitar soloing, rhythm playing, songwriting, all those wonderful juicy stuff, and how I've made it a little simpler to understand, I hope. So let's get on with it. Although you don't have to get right deep into music theory, there is a certain amount of music theory that you need to know. And the stuff that I use is at the basic level of music theory, and that includes the minor pentatonic scale, the major scale, and understanding diatonic harmony, and I will cover all of that in these videos. If you don't know your minor pentatonic patterns and your major scale patterns, then you need to go and learn those. My patrons will have access to videos where I explain and teach you these scale patterns. You can become a patron by heading over to the link in the description, and you can subscribe monthly and get extra content and extended lessons and stuff like that. There are loads of YouTube tutorials on how to play the minor pentatonics and the major scale, etc. So you can also go and search those out as well if you like. I will be showing you the scales as we go along. So for this lesson, we're just concentrating on the first minor pentatonic pattern and the first major scale pattern, and I'm going to show you how they lock together over a dominant chord. Like I said, this is lesson 1. There will be several lessons. I will do one a week, and it will open up the fretboard as we go week by week. So we're going to concentrate on one space, and then we're going to move to another space, and as the lessons go on, you'll see how you can spread across the fretboard, and then by the end of it all, you'll be able to go up and down and all over the fretboard, and you won't get lost, I promise. Well, the first thing I want to explain is diatonic harmony. Sorry, my head's cut off, but you need to see the guitar. What this means is, so for every note of the major scale, we'll go from G to explain this. And if you play them in chords, it goes major, minor, minor, major, dominant, 7, minor, diminished, back to the major. So like this. And that is diatonic harmony. Well, you notice there's only one dominant 7 chord, and that is the 5th of the major scale. Also, the 4th is a major, which comes just before the dominant 7, sorry, the 5th. So, when you're playing a dominant 7 chord, dominant 7 chord has a flat 7 in it, you can play the 4th over that chord. And it works perfectly. So whenever you're playing a dominant 7 chord, toned down, you have a major scale just at your fingertips. With that in mind, if we go down to A, dominant 7, we now know that a tone down, which is 2 frets, there's a major scale which will fit over that chord. So that's how you can play a major scale over a dominant 7 chord. Let's look at the major scale, because you need to learn this too. And we're just going to learn the first shape. There are 7. Major scale shapes, and there are 5 pentatonic scale shapes. We're just concentrating on one of each, the first one of each. So the first pattern, and we're going to go from G major here. There's a couple of ways of playing it, but we're going to play it this way. So you're going to go 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret, and same again. So it's like this. this is where you may want to pause the video and learn that. So now you've learnt your major scale. Major scale is where all the melody is and all the happiness. We need to look at the minor pentatonic scale, where all the mood is and all the sadness. So pattern 1 pentatonic, we're going to take from the A position. So you're going to go 5th to 8th, 5th, 7th, 5th, 7th, 5th, 7th, 5th, 8th, 5th, 8th. So, to recap, you've got 2 scales now. You've got your major scale from the G root. So it's a G major scale, which goes like that. And you've got your minor pentatonic, your A minor pentatonic. Right, so, over our dominant 7 chord, the reason why the A minor pentatonic is working over the dominant chord is because it's actually stealing notes from the G major. All of these notes are in that scale. That's why it works. So, A minor pentatonic. G major. And so on and so on. You can make up whatever you want. I will be doing other lessons on technique and stuff another time. So that's why all of that works. So you've opened up now, you've opened up this little window of notes here. So you know over that. All right, let's see what that sounds like. See what that sounds like. Hear what that sounds like in the mix. This is a backing track. I'll put a link in the description to these. It's a website called guitarbackingtrack.com. They're all free, royalty free too. Very good site. I'll link that for you.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
So hopefully you can see by using the minor pentatonic and marrying it with the major scale, a tone down, it opens up, takes you out of that box a little bit, if that makes any sense. That opens it up a little bit. Now, the next thing to do here is to consider the chord. And the chord has a flat 7 in it. And that's what makes it bluesy, if that makes any sense. And that flat 7 is that note there. Now in this scale, the major scale and the minor pentatonic scale here doesn't incorporate that note at all. It's just those 2 notes. But you got this note here. So, and this is where you can start altering the scale by considering the chord you're playing over. Which sounds marvellous over that. Because it's in the chord, right? So now by adding that flat 7 note, and there's one here on the 6th fret on the G string, there's one here on the A string on the 4th fret, you can get some more bluesier kind of flavours to what's going on. So let's have a little listen to that.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
So now, by adding that note, interestingly, we've altered the scale slightly. So you could play from the major pattern like this. Or from the minor easy for you to say, or from the minor pentatonic pattern like this. So by now, you know that you can use the G major, you can use the minor pentatonic in A over the A dominant 7 chord. It will work over the whole progression, the whole 1-4-5. What I mean by the 1-4-5 is, like, in the blues, you got this would be the 1, that would be the 4, and that would be the 5. It will work over the whole sequence. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be just over that one chord. And the next thing to consider now is the flat 5. And the flat 5 is a great note. So where we're playing, there's 2 major ones here. They are flat 5s. So, considering the flat 7 as well, and adding the flat 5, we can play like this. Now we're getting into bluesy town. The flat 5 is a bit of a tricky one. It's a really good passing note. What I mean by that is, like, you slip in and out of it, slip in and out of that note, or pass through that note. It's great for that. You don't want to rest on it because it just sounds, it's not right because it's not in the chord. Sounds nasty, right? You don't want to do that. But slipping in and out of it or passing over it gives a great flavour, and that's what we're after. We're after a bit of flavour to the playing rather than just playing straight notes and blah blah blah. So now your pentatonic scale will look something like this, which is basically a blues scale. That's what they call it. But I'm looking at it in a different way. I'm looking at it as I'm adding notes. I'm taking notes from the chord and making sure they're in the scale, and I'm adding notes that maybe aren't in the scale, but will just add that little bit of flavour to what's going on. And the same with the major scale. Sorry. Oh, you get the idea. So now we've got all of it. So let's have a listen to what that's like.
1, 2,
Don't forget the coffee is really important.
2, 3.
So as far as technique goes, and bends and trills and all that kind of thing, I'll include those in my extra content for my patrons. Hopefully, just from this small tutorial, you can see that you can break out of a box, add some nice flavourable notes in there, and open up the fretboard a little bit so you're not just stuck in one position. The next video, which will be next week, this will be like a whole playlist, as it goes on, and then it'll all be there. We're going to look at the second major scale pattern and the second minor scale pattern and how they fit together. So we've unlocked this part of the fretboard here over that A dominant blues, and it's going to stretch up to here on the second lesson, and then the third lesson it's going to be stretching up to here, and so on until we get to the end, and it will be the whole fretboard, and you'll be able to find your way around the whole thing and find some real interesting tones and notes. So if you like this kind of video, then please give it a thumbs up, like, comment and subscribe. Helps me out in a big way. And please consider being a patron. You can donate just for pure love of it if you want to, or I am adding extra content for a donation a month. Head over there, you'll see it. You'll see it anyway. Peace. Till next time.